Oh, yeah, pretty good, huh?
Yeah, very good.
They,
Good,
yeah,
very good pair of episodes to finish off chapter two.
yep.
Mm,
Interesting.
yeah, definitely. That last one was very tense, and yeah, that was
Mm.
that's probably the most exciting episode yet that we've seen so far.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They've definitely ratcheted up the tension.
yeah. The tension was definitely there.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah,
It's, you're like wondering if they'd succeed or not. It's like, what are
yeah,
they doing? Like, really pressured.
mm, that's right. There's a lot of tense moments in that final episode. Yeah. Um, but yeah, episode five as well was, just an interesting episode in terms of, um, yeah, seeing Saul Guerrero again.
Yep. Five was definitely a lot slower though, so that was more like setting up the
Mm. Setting up the final, like the next one.
yeah, setting up like the stage for the next one.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's normally the case, right?
Mm.
Like the third episode of the chapter
Mm.
is the most
It's
tense
always the
one.
most exciting.
Yeah. But it seems like it would be like that for the others as well. Like since they were released in chapters,
Mm.
and we're quite far behind now, but
Mm.
Yeah,
the series is over, but yet we're just halfway through.
Yeah,
yeah,
but yeah, I enjoyed both episodes. Both were, interesting in their own ways. Um, you can sort of see Saw Gerrera being, you know, quite extremist already. You can sort of understand why, people like Luthen were hesitant to work with him. You know, and when he was when he sent Andor to check out the Gorman front, he didn't think, that they were going to be prepared to do what's required for the rebellion.
Yeah.
And
But
yeah,
this
that last episode showed, how very unprepared they were.
yeah. And they lost one of the people.
Yeah,
But yeah,
because
that's like war and what they're doing. But it was his fault, it seems.
yeah.
But what can they expect? He was going into a battle, so really,
That's right.
like they are rebels, so they were fighting anyway.
But it sort of proves Andor right that that there's no point to this, you know, supposed heist. Because what could they do against the might of the Empire, even if they stole, these weapons? It wouldn't be enough. They would be crushed if there was a real like uprising. But that was, I think, the what the Empire had been planning to goad them into anyway. That was the trap. So, and Andor could see that. So yeah.
Yeah, so there were like several different like movements happening at once. Like there was Krennic
Mm.
and his like team trying to
Mm.
catch the rebels. The rebels were doing their own things in like two parts as well. It's like and yeah, and Andor was doing his own thing as well. So it's like so many things at once,
Yeah.
which
And
is why the tension was like high. It's
Yeah.
like there were so many like plots like
Moving parts.
fighting against each other.
Yeah. A lot of
But
moving parts and people sort of going rogue basically as well. You can see as well with Bix at the end and
yeah,
Andor. They decided to do their own thing.
yep. But they blended it well, which was interesting.
Yeah. The good thing though is that they targeted Dr. Gorst, and he's one of the more important sort of players in the Empire. Um, so with him out of the picture, I think that would help the cause
Mm.
in some way.
Yep,
So yeah, so I think that what they did was actually more useful than that heist, which got Cinta killed. So yeah.
yep. But at least it kind of shows like they're not really all, well, they are rebels, but they're not really combined like a rebel alliance.
Hmm.
So effectively, the rebels exist, but the rebel alliance is like nothing.
But they're very scattered and they don't have that unifying force. I don't think that really comes together until, pretty much where you are, the events happened in Rogue One. It pretty much only coalesced with Leia.
Yeah,
She was the one that brought them together. Um, because before that it was a bit chaotic. But I
yeah,
think once they got to that point where they've got, okay, we've got the plans for the Death Star, that's when it really started coming together. So it's, yeah, but it's interesting to see, essentially how scattered they were and how difficult it was to get everyone to be on the same page and to work together.
yep, definitely.
Mm.
And I think we'll figure that out like
Mm.
in the next chapters. Like the next one is going to be like another year ahead.
Yeah, a year after that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens from there.
Mm. And Clea managed to get that listening device out just in time before Krennic came.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, like it got really stuck.
Mm.
So much happened.
Mm.
Uh,
Let's see some Easter
yeah,
eggs.
Easter eggs, yes.
Hmm.
27. Wow.
Well, this is
Because it's
across
4 to 6, yeah.
which we saw, yeah, 2 weeks ago. New Star Wars language. Common. So Gauls have their own language and alphabets.
Mm.
Yeah, it sounded French.
Yeah, very
Sounded very
French
French.
Italian.
Yeah.
Hmm. Talking Vesica.
Yes, so it does seem like they this is like very different to what they do with the movies. Like the series is like really foreign, like trying to implement legends into
Hmm.
like the canon.
Yeah.
When what they did with like The Force Awakens and those other ones, they like completely
Mm.
threw canon out the window. So
Yeah.
all of this is canon now.
Mm. So,
Mhm.
yes, once again, this Tarkin massacre is mentioned. And yeah.
Actually, episode 4, there was not, yeah. Rima Trade Route. Gorman is located near the Rima Trade Route here.
Mm.
Okay, interesting. Too much Imperial news.
Yeah, Imperial.
Good morning,
Yeah, of
Coruscant.
course. This is their main sort of morning show.
Yeah, it's like old style. Like it's really interesting that it's like really old classically styled
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
compared.
very mid-century. Even the decor, the design of the furniture, it's very mid-century style.
The screens as well. It's like CRT, like what?
yeah.
That
Epoch.
reminds me of the old TVs that you used to have.
CRV thing, yeah.
Yeah, CIT.
Yeah, I think.
Mm,
Like we still use CRT. It's like really good technology still.
yeah.
Still around, I think. Yeah.
It's still around, but really niche. Like you don't get like the uh, latency that you get with like current screens,
Mm.
Yeah.
which is why for some like retro gamers they prefer CRTs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Too much. Oh, no, wait. Classic Star Wars audio.
Mm. So different.
Yeah, we hear all these sounds.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
this
really
year.
classic. So it's a lot of it is like really old school.
Mm,
Yeah, like episode 4 to 6
mm,
sound.
yeah.
Pod race, still a popular event.
Which is like episode one.
Yeah,
Like Star Wars episode one, not the
Mm,
not this
episode
Andor.
one of Andor.
yeah. Phantom Menace. Mm,
Gorman Front, recruiting Cyril and sabotage Imperial operations.
mm,
Referenced by Saul Guerrera in Andor Season 1.
mm,
Yularen and Patagas. High Space Colonel Yularen.
mm,
Okay. Imperial Senate building, still the same exterior.
mhm.
Oh, same as in the prequels.
And
Imperial
the
Senate building with the dome shape.
mm,
Yeah.
The car shows partisans.
So that was a planet.
Yeah, the
mm.
car.
So that's kind of
Yeah, it was also in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
mm,
Interesting.
mm,
Like a lot of these we wouldn't really know at all.
No.
mm. And this interesting one,
Ridonium.
Udonium.
Volatile fuel.
Yeah, he seems to be like he's not wearing any protection. He's just breathing it in. It's toxic, which is probably why you know he
What
Why he
didn't
needed that thing at
install
the
on
end.
him.
oxygen apparatus.
He
But
needed like
then, yeah. But then that other guy
mm,
just took it off and then he started like wheezing.
mm,
Like he couldn't handle it.
Oh yeah, we saw this. Different frequencies.
mm,
Name of the different planets. Rylov 748, Corellia 222,
mm.
Skodon 343.
Yeah. So that's the listening device that she was trying to get rid of. That was picking up the.
Right.
Oh, Semper.
Oh, Sam Witwer. He does a lot of voices in Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, I mostly know him as Darth Maul, but it's interesting that he's done other voices too.
Yeah, like he was in a game as well
Mm,
as yeah, and he did Darth Maul.
mm.
Like in the animated one, not the Darth Maul in the.
No, no. I mean, he didn't actually like physically. do stunts or anything like that.
Yeah, he voiced them there.
Just the voicing. Yeah.
He has a good voice
Mm.
for that.
Yeah.
Imperial Ball. Emperor Palpatine's Imperial Palace.
Mm. So this is like the big event of the year, is the Imperial Ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
Emperor has no idea.
Hmm.
Ross Massif. Ross that
In
Massif.
Mm.
there. That's inch. Okay.
Thor's Black X-Wings. Impressive.
Mm.
Partisan Squadron.
Okay, yeah. I guess that does look familiar. Mm.
Oh, Togruta Urn.
Mm.
So that's the same species as Ahsoka.
Let's see.
Yeah, so that's the race.
Yep.
The gluten. Mm.
Yeah,
Ren Vizia. Vizia.
yeah,
Grand
he's
Vizier.
always been around.
Mm.
Grand Emperor Palpatine's Grand Vizier. The Onderan Jungles. So Guerrera Star Wars history. Homeworld of Onderon.
Mhm.
Mm.
Steer Guard. Finally seen on screen.
Mm.
Yeah, we saw it. Episode 6. Luton picking up Cassian.
Interesting.
Mhm.
I have friends everywhere.
That's their code word.
That's a really interesting code. Like, really?
Friends everywhere.
It's like that's how they know that they're part of that network.
Oh,
Mhm.
Oh, we saw this. Yeah.
the secret code, is it? Yeah.
Oathkeeper is his name. Member of the Imperial Senate. Who opens the sessions in the Senate chambers.
Hmm.
Bail Organa. Oh, it's been recast.
Yeah, because I think Jimmy Smits was the original Bail
Oh,
Organa.
Smith was unavailable to star due to scheduling conflicts.
Mm.
Yeah, that's why I look different.
Mm. Yes.
The face is a lot slimmer.
Hmm.
Mm.
Interesting.
So interesting to see him there, because you'd think Leia would be around, but she's
Mm.
not shown.
Mhm. Yep.
Gordon's Gallery.
Mm.
Yeah, all these valuable items, relics. We should have killed Krennic.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, that's what they said at the end while when they were walking away from the place. But yeah, if they did, then they wouldn't be a show.
Mm. But it wasn't the right time.
Yep.
And of course, Dr. Garth gets a taste of his own medicine when Vix finally, get gets to avenge herself. um,
Yep.
Oh
Like I
yeah.
know you, but it seems like he also seems to have forgotten where he
he
knew her
he
from.
doesn't remember her probably because he's tortured a lot of people. So
Yeah, but he recognized her in some way though.
yeah,
Oh, okay. And they blew it up anyway.
Yep.
that's right. And yeah, so he gets strapped to the his own torture device.
Mm. Well,
Interesting.
mm.
Yeah, a lot of Easter eggs.
Yep, definitely a lot of Easter eggs.
And definitely things that you sort of don't pick up on unless they go through it like this. Um, hmm.
Mhm.
But yeah, interesting to see Bill Organa there. So you can see that he's kind of eventually um, part of the Rebel Alliance. Well, at least Leia is more heavily involved, but I think you can sort of start to see things coming together
Yep.
for the Rebel Alliance. Hmm.
But we might not see the Leia character at all in the series.
Yeah, maybe it's more like she's referenced
Yeah,
because
probably.
her greater involvement later on.
Well, essentially, if we looked now, we probably could tell, but I'm not looking ahead.
Hmm.
I'm not watching ahead yet, even though the series is finished.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will see what happens.
Hmm. Yeah, that definitely makes me really look forward to seeing the rest. Yeah, but it's interesting to see how different, the approaches are, like within the Rebel Alliance, how differently they, um, how they see what should be done and
Yep.
how their different approaches are, how different their approaches are. You go from somebody very extreme, like Saw Gerrera, to someone who's sort of more middle of the road, like Luthen. He is quite ruthless in his own way, but he's much more measured and more calculating in the way that he does it. And then you go from that to like total amateurs, like the Gorman front. And
Hmm.
it's so interesting to see like a different sort of
Yeah,
very
several different layers, several different ways of actually performing what they wanted to do.
yeah, that difference in approach is what made it hard for them to become an alliance in the first place. So it's quite interesting how they were able to eventually overcome that, by
Yeah,
the of Rogue One.
yeah,
Yeah,
like their approach was like extremely different.
so different. Yeah, and you can also see even also on the Empire side, you see that as well with the different approaches that they have.
Yeah, they have like different ideas on their own.
Yeah, with Dedra and even Cyril doesn't see the whole picture yet. Like they reveal certain things to him, but not everything.
Mhm.
So
But I think it's I say trust like in any of those things. It's like they don't even know themselves.
yeah, there's quite a lot that's that because they don't share information that freely, um, that's one of the weaknesses of the empire as well.
Yeah, I think that's a weakness of like anything really. Like,
Yeah, because then if there are certain things you don't know, then you could be going down this road and it's the wrong road.
yeah,
Yeah, it's very interesting to see that. And of course, Krennic, has his tight inner circle, but we see that
yeah.
um,
T his team probably doesn't communicate with like the others either. So
yeah,
chain of communication is always broken.
mm,
Too many like layers, too many like
mm,
ways of thinking.
yeah, and that's probably the reason why you know that sort of weakness in the bureaucracy has sort of led to a lot of things sort of falling through the cracks, which made them more vulnerable to be exploited by the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah, it's like really political and
Mm,
effectively it's like quite similar to like how the politics work in reality
mm,
in some way.
yeah,
Like in some twisted way anyway.
Mm,
Because like, for example, even US, how many like law providers do they have? Like
mm,
FBI, CIA, all that.
mm,
And even with those like groups, they didn't communicate all too well like, with each other. Like it's not central at all.
mm,
So I think with anything, there's always that sort of like breakdown in communication, which is always like exploited,
yeah, that's what makes it easy for the other side to exploit. Um, so yeah.
which is kind of sad. Like
Mm,
if if it was like centralized in some way, and we do have like a proper communication
yeah.
in those sort of things, then we wouldn't have like all those like terrorists
Mm,
going off.
mm,
Like, wasn't the whole like 9/11 thing at all the
mm,
reason why they had that huge breakdown in communication?
mm, yeah.
It like really showcases like
Mm.
they completely lost like trust between themselves as well.
Mm. Like it's possible, like sometimes that somebody does come up with an red flag, something, an alert, and then it's ignored or brushed aside. And we saw that even in like especially in season one when Cyril, it's interesting that they brought back his background as a corporate cop
Mm. Yeah.
in Morlana one because that sort of reminds me of how he was ignored and brushed aside and he was trying to investigate the deaths of two of his colleagues and he was repeatedly told to drop it.
Mm.
But if he had been allowed to investigate that, they would have caught Andor sooner.
Yep.
That neglect is what allowed Andor to escape and then eventually join the Rebel Alliance. Imagine if he had been caught then, and then he wouldn't have been where he was in Rogue One, stealing the plans for the Death Star. you know, like this
Yeah.
thing originated from essentially them ignoring Cyril and not catching Andor sooner.
Yeah. It definitely happens both ways. Like we
Mm.
as the viewer could see like all that breakdown, but
So, yeah,
because we're watching from the outside, but
that's
of
right.
course they wouldn't really know themselves.
Yeah,
Like they're just like throwing strings and they're getting messed up and mixed.
yeah. Or that they have certain protocols and they're very much, by the book rather than sort of thinking, hey, there's something here that we should investigate.
Yeah, like the Empire right now is like really protocol based.
Hmm. And
Yeah,
funnily enough, it was Cyril who found about the theft of certain items. I think he and Dedra, again, this is season one, so it's pretty far back, but they first sort of knew there was like an Axis, that Axis project was because they believed all these Empire supplies were being stolen.
mhm.
But it was something that they were told to drop. Like Dedra was dropped from the Axis project and was told to move on to this Gorman project instead.
Yep. So their chain is really broken
Yeah,
as well.
that's right. I mean, she was very determined to catch Andor, but then she got taken off that. But interestingly, we see Andor in Gorman. So that's where sort of, if she knew how close she was to catching Andor when he was in Gorman and Cyril was there too at the same time, you know,
Yeah, she'd
that,
lose her mind.
that the very person that she's been wanting to catch has been in Gorman.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, anyways, let's get to our reviews. It's getting a bit late,
Mhm.
Hmm.
I guess.
Um, yeah, it's an intriguing series so far. Like as you all have said, it really gives us a glimpse into the formation of the Rebel Alliance and how chaotic and how scattered it is. So yeah, not something that we, you know, see often. So I guess this is why it's such a unique,
Mm.
I guess, glimpse into this aspect of Star Wars. I mean, it's a very different Star Wars in a way.
Mm.
You know, there's no lightsabers,
Yeah,
no Jedi,
more political.
all politics. But yeah, it's a yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, and
Yeah, it's int
definitely, I think episode 6 had a lot of tension in it as well. I think so. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season will lead into Rogue One. Yeah, so far, yeah, I'll give chapter 2 yeah, solid 7 for me.
Episode 5 for me is a 7 as well. Like I agree with Marcus, but I think episode 6 is definitely the one that sort of fires in all cylinders. So for me, that'd be like 8.5. I really like the action more. Like I finally feel like they've ramped up the action a bit more and the tension with episode 6. So yeah, I enjoyed that episode. I think out of all the episodes so far, that's the one that I like the most. So yeah, definitely a great one to finish chapter 2 on.
Yep.
Yeah. Reminds me a little bit of that heist episode in season 1 of Andor. We have another heist here. So it's an interesting um way to finish chapter 2. Mm, yeah. So yeah, looking forward to the next one.
Yep. Bill still there?
Bill, what do you think?
Or Jeff?
6 was much better, yeah, than 5. Yeah. So it leads into Rogue One, doesn't it?
Mm,
It does.
It
mm,
does. Yeah. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think the end of the season for sure
mm.
Oh, the end
will
of
lead right into Rogue One.
the end of which one? End of season 2, you mean? Or 3?
Yeah, the end of this season. So,
How many is there to go?
huh?
6.
Well,
Oh,
altogether 12 episodes where we've currently
we're
done
halfway.
We're
half.
halfway.
Yeah, so we're 6 more episodes to go.
Yeah, we're halfway through season 2.
I like the TIE fighters. Yeah, they're really good. When they're flying and all that. Yeah, I'll give that 8. For the last one, 6 and 5. I might just give it 7. Yeah.
Mm.
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 Okay.
All right. Uh, so if I've enjoyed the series, like,
Mm,
uh, I think I'll just do it as a chapter, not really as like episodes 5 and 6,
Oh,
mm,
chapters. Yeah.
because I think that's what everyone else is doing, since it's like split in chapters.
mm,
But
mm,
overall, yeah, 5 was a lot slower, but it was really more political.
mm,
Mm.
But I could see why they did that. Like this time, because it was like practically all in one go. It's not like we don't see the ending of that tension like the following week. We actually get it like right away.
mm.
So we get that conclusion like right then. So 5 and 6.
Mm.
It's quite solid. So 4, 5, and 6 as a whole chapter, I think I'd give it like a 7.5.
Mm.
It's really solid. These
Mm.
how they told the story was quite good. They have like many different angles. Like they showed the Empire side and the many plots and plans,
Mm.
and all the rebels. Like so many different rebel forces doing their own thing
Yeah.
in the tension in episode 6. So that was really well done. Like they kept like splitting between like the many different scenes. So
Mm.
it was quite interesting to follow. Like they keep doing this in this show where like they have like two scenes and then they just like plop them together and it seems to work. Like the
Mm.
first chapter, there was that whole TIE fighter scene and the dance.
Mm.
Mm. Oh, yeah,
So yeah, quite solid, and we'll see where it leads in the next ones.
Mm.
mm. Cool. Interesting.
It's
What
a
is IGN? Okay.
YGN.
7. Mm.
Yeah. Mm.
It was 7. Interesting.
Mm.
Well, it says it does slow down a bit here in chapter
Yeah.
2.
I would give it, yeah, 7.5. Chapter 2 as a whole, I think it would be a
Yep.
7.
Yeah, it did slow down in chapter 5. You could tell in chapter 5 it was kind of slow.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
another build up kind of episode.
yeah, but episode 4 was also kind of slow.
Mm.
But each episode ramped up a bit.
Yeah. It
If
was
we
very,
yeah, if we watched it from episodes 4, 5, and 6 as a whole, we
yeah,
could probably feel that tension rise even more, like gradually.
that's right. Yeah.
But we only just watched 5 and 6 today, so
Mm.
even though we're behind, we could still like sense what they were planning to do.
Yeah. Mm.
And
Yeah.
then we'll get like 7, 8, like up to 12,
Mm.
several more episodes to go.
Yeah. And I think they're just gonna keep ratcheting it up, the tension, as the chapters go. I think it's really meant to build everything up until the events of Rogue One when things are finally, at that point, um,
Yep.
where
And we
he meets Jean Erso. Mm.
yep.
Mm.
So yeah, and we also have the AI podcasts, which have been
Yeah.
completed.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. The mm,
Now I can listen to chapter 2.
yeah.
Mm. Yeah, the podcasts are really interesting, so you can listen to them if you want to. So
Mm.
the AI podcast is completed the series now,
Yeah.
so you could check that out if you want to.
Yeah.
But for now, just look up to chapter 2 because we're
Yeah,
not
I'll listen to chapter 2.
past that yet. So the next one is the Gorman Inferno.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Interesting.
So that arc.
Hmm.
And we'll see that. We'll see that next week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Looking forward to it.